Okay, so here is the basics of the attack in Olympic style fencing. Now, we all know that line from Game of Thrones, stick 'em with the pointy end. That's pretty much it. That really is as simple as it gets. For this I'll be teaching the two main forms of the attack. The first is the extension, which is where all attack comes from, and then the lunge, which is your bread and butter. That is what you will use the most of. So, for the extension, you just sink into on guard again. Make sure your arms are nice and low. And then extend. You bring your arm straight, hand just above shoulder height, usually pointing down. You want to get a nice bend in the blade when you hit there. So, pointing down like that. Okay? Just relax, parallel, and extend. You want it snapping out as quick as you can, so extend. You want to get a nice snap motion. But for now, keep it nice and steady. Make sure you've got it there, okay? You don't want it way up here. You're going to be way off target. Nor do you want it there, you've lost it all. An important thing to note, don't draw your arm back. You'll see a lot of beginner fencers do this. When they're about to, they see an opening, they go, ugh, and they've just broadcast their attack to absolutely everybody. You're just extending the arm and then pretty much moving into the attack. So, just extend. You're just bringing the point into contact. Might as well show this off. This here is a fencing foil. There are three main types of Olympic fencing. The foil, this is the one most beginners use. Please do not tell my housemate that I borrowed his sword. You can see it's very light, very small, quick. Has a very small handguard, and that's because in foil the area of attack is the torso. Just the torso, not the arms, legs, head, none of that. My form, épée, it's a bit like the foil, but with a much heavier blade, and the handguard extends much further, and you use that to protect yourself a lot more, because in épée, everywhere is a target, including the toes, the hand. Remember how I said I try not to keep that out there as another target? Face mask, everything. I much prefer épée. It's a bit slower, a bit more tactical. Then there's saber, which, unlike the other two, which are all point focused, saber is like that. Has that nice hilt coming over the hand, and with saber, it's more. You extend and swipe. Saber's probably my second favorite. There's a lot of complexity in who has priority of attack in foil and saber that I really can't be bothered with. But saber can be a lot of fun. It's very fast moving. If you want to learn the basics of saber, basically it's scream, run forward, whack. But yeah, so the extension is just like that. Just bringing the point home. You can practice with the stick if you like, but really just getting that motion is the most important part. Just extend, step. Extend, step. And that's your defense as well. You're keeping someone at an arm's reach with it. So as long as you've got that extended, if they come at you and you've got it, usually you want to aim for about here, center of the chest, throat. If you're an épéiste, you'd aim for the arm, upper arm, and head, because those are the first things coming in contact. Usually for this, you want it nice and steady. And so when you're on the advance, if you spot an opening, you keep that up. If you're on the retreat, you only unlock that when you're away. You want to make make sure you've got that distance. Next thing, I'll have to put this down because unfortunately I don't have much room to work here, is the lunge. This really is the bread and butter of fencing. It's the most important thing you need to learn, I would say, other than the footwork. Now the lunge, you just go into on guard. First, the arm comes up into extension. Foot comes up as though you're taking a step forward, and then you drive yourself forward with the back foot. And that's where you get your length, that's where you get your explosive attack. Nearly all the attacks will just come from this. Keep that, and that. And that's up there to keep your balance. And then to come back, you just unlock that leg, and then the arm comes back last of all. So arm is always first out, last back. So yeah, it's been a while since I've actually fenced, so that was horrible. That was better. Important thing to note, if you look at your front leg, make sure your knee is directly above your ankle. Too far forwards, like that, or too far back, like that. First of all, it's an awful lunge, and it endangers your ankle. It puts far too much pressure upon it and your knee. That far, if it's far further back, it means you've got a lot more range you can bring into the attack. If it's like that, you've overextended yourself, and it's going to be difficult to retreat back. Okay? So, just try that now. So go to on guard, arm up, lunge, check your form, make sure everything's good, unlock the back leg, go back. Now try 5 extensions with me. Ready? 3, 2, 1. I've already lost count. One more. Check your form, make sure it's all good. Is your back up nice and straight? If you're leaning too far that way. Quite often when we would get a new class in, people learning the lunge on the first time, it would be like watching a row of dominoes, because there'd be one person who had stuck their butt out or something, and then they'd fall into someone, and then they'd fall into someone. It was always wonderful to watch, but they never made the mistake again. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Extension and lunge. One thing I'll do here, what you need to do now is combine that with the footwork. So excuse me while I move the viewing platform to where I actually have a bit more space. Sorry for the Dutch angles, you're actually balanced on an old ironing board I happen to have lying around. Heaven knows I don't iron anything. Because when you've got a sword to play with, why not? Interesting thing to note, this one actually has a different grip to the one you'd most commonly find in sports fencing. Most of the time ones use pistol grips because they have a better control of the blade, better defense. I much prefer the pistol grip. This gives you more length though, a bit more distance. Okay, so go into on guard, start your footwork. When I say extension, extend. When I say lunge, lunge. Just keep distance with me like we were before. And extend. Extend. I have to judge when I can lunge here because I don't want to hit the camera. Extend. Lunge. Recover. Extension. Lunge. Sometimes they'll catch you on the back foot, you'll see a position, go for it. extension. Lunge. Lunge. As you get better at the footwork, start to become a little bit faster, a bit lighter on the feet. Okay, those two are pretty much the basics. It's difficult to teach things like the parry, riposte without an opponent, but that's basically it. Parry, riposte. I'll see if I can do another video about that later.